Well. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, and maybe to a few of you, good night, but wherever you are, welcome. Welcome to Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. My name is Joy Ruffin. I work as a style and leadership consultant, a signature style specialist, speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster. It's always a pleasure to spend time and space with you. My work is with women who are transitioning, whatever that means, second act, second chapter, midlife, and it's to support them in elevating their wow factor. But tonight, our leading lady is here to share a lot of wonderful things with you. And I just want you to sit back, relax, get comfortable, grab whatever that's going to be for you, coffee, a cocktail, tea, just plain water, a soda, whatever it is, and be comfortable and tune in to what our featured guest is going to share with you. Our featured guest speaker tonight is Jane Goldie Winn. Now, she prefers to be called Goldie, a social worker, a life coach, author, and speaker. And Jane's life story is going to blow you away. What I learned from life, my journey of surrender. Help me to welcome our featured guest speaker tonight, Jane Goldie Winn. Welcome.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. I'm honored to have you here because, oh, we have guests already. Kevin is here because your work resonates with what I'm about at a different level. So before we go anywhere or any further, share with us a little bit about what you're doing now. Jane, your story is never ending, but let's start somewhat at the beginning. The stage is yours.
Okay, well, thank you again for having me, Joy. Yes, my story spans a lot of years, but basically, I guess what's most important is that, I experienced a lot in my life. I experienced depression, I experienced trauma, I experienced just all kinds of different issues that I had to work through to get to the other side. I guess most importantly was just moving away from my painful past because it seemed to be following me wherever I went. And I just really knew that at some point I had to totally surrender it for me to the Lord. And once I did that, then all kinds of amazing doors opened for me. And part of my journey was writing my life story in my book, Rainbow in the Night, A Journey of Redemption, which, by the way, took 20 years to write because
Wow.
I couldn't finish it until I worked through my issues because I
Well,
didn't want to it from a victim standpoint.
let's go back. I love that. Love that ending because most, and the key word is most people, and especially, I shouldn't say especially, but I'm going to women, we deal with all kinds of things that happen that we have to overcome. And because of our conditioning and programming and being marginalized in so many ways, it just happens. So the way that you ended that, you were going to take, or you knew that you didn't know, but it took 20 years because you didn't want to be the victim. So share
Right.
with us a little bit about when you knew and decided that you were not going to become the victim, that you were going to release and surrender and rise above what had occurred in your life prior to this releasing.
Yes, well, that's a very good question. I guess it was, they say it's a process, not an event. And I think, I just became aware that I was holding myself back, that, I just had a lot of gifts that I believe God had given me and a lot of wonderful opportunities to help other people. But I really felt like I just couldn't move forward. I was really stuck. And until, I have a lot of wonderful people around me who are always willing to speak into my life. And many people said, you just got to let go. You got to surrender. And once you do that, you will see a whole new world open up to you. And that's exactly what happened, because just after that happened, somebody came forward who offered to publish my book. And then little did I know, eventually my book would be made into a movie. And I'm
Wow.
also doing life coaching and just helping women in any way that I can.
Well, it's our time, Goldie. I'm going to call you Goldie because I love that name, Goldie. And you know what? I don't brown nose. It fits you, especially now. We see the glow coming through the screen from you.
Thank
You
you.
are doing spectacular, spectacular work because I know that you're working predominantly with women, but men too. Or am I
Yeah.
wrong about that? Yes,
Yeah.
men too. But predominantly, it's us as women who need the guidance, the support, and the love, more so unconditional, because men have always had the power, but now we're waking up to ours. Now, I know that you're working with what I used to before the pandemic. I volunteered in the nursery for these beautiful babies that were being birthed. And I know
Oh,
that you're doing a lot in the clinic at the social work. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think a lot of people want to know a little bit more about the work that you're doing with women and pregnancy.
yes, thank you. Well, it started in 1997. I had gotten my master's degree in 1993, and I worked in private practice for about 4 years. And I had a client come in one day, and she was very, very discouraged because she had an unplanned pregnancy and was considering abortion. And while she was in the abortion clinic, she actually had a miscarriage. But everything in her knew she never really wanted to have an abortion. So out of that experience, I was able to bring her to a local pregnancy center up in Pennsylvania. And when I did that and got her in for help, the director said to me, we're looking for a client services director. Would you be willing to apply for the job? And I thought, well, yeah, I hadn't thought of it. Then, little did I know it become my life's passion's work and ministry, because I started in 1997, and to this day, when we moved down to Florida, I work in a pregnancy center here as well, and I help women who are in the throes of making a decision about their pregnancy, because it's a big decision, and we really want
Yeah.
them to slow everything down and look at the whole circumstance. Because in my life, I had an abortion, and I was very much traumatized by it, and I just
Yes, yes.
many times women make that decision so quickly, and they need to really slow everything down and look at the whole big picture before taking that big step.
Yes, Goldie. I have to breathe and sit back for a moment, because I have been in those shoes myself. That's why I
Mm,
celebrate and commend you for the work that you're doing, because
mm,
unplanned pregnancies, even today with all the birth control, it's still pretty prevalent. But what you
yes.
said that really resonated with me and everyone who'll be tuning in now and for the replay is that you came to this not necessarily by accident, but you weren't thinking about this.
No.
It was like you were called to do this. And somehow someone mentioned or said, and then you started and you found that this would be a life's work, something that you really took pleasure in,
Yes.
enjoyment in. Is it
Yes.
uncanny how that happens sometimes?
It is, it really is, and I think that's sometimes the way life works, and it's the best adventure of at all.
I completely concur. I completely agree. No question about it. And this thing called unplanned, it happens in so many different areas of our lives, and our
Yes.
passion and our love for what we think we're really and might be really very good at. We're called in another direction. That's a gift as well, but that's the gift that you're meant to unveil and
Mhm.
reveal to others to support them on their journey. So I love
Yes.
that. Tell me, when you are going out to speak to different audiences and so on, what is your main topic? What are you sharing with the people that you're there to speak to? What's the main topic that you're sharing with them about their life and what will support them on their journey?
That's a very good question. I try to, tailor whatever I'm going to speak to the particular audience, but I think mostly what resonates with people is my telling my story in a vulnerable and transparent way, because there's so many different aspects to my story that people can relate to. Some people have experienced depression, some people have experienced abuse, some have experienced trauma with abortion, some have experienced loss of hopes and dreams, and maybe a challenge in a marital situation. So I speak very honestly about all of those issues and how I was able to move through them to the other side, so that now I can help others who would be stuck in whatever areas in their past that are holding them back. So probably transformation and surrender, and really how to be the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Your answers, your responses to the questions are so spot on, because you mentioned all the buzzwords that are out here now. People want to see that you are authentic, that you're real, and that you can share something about yourself that connects to what they're about and what they've been involved with, so that there's a connection. So I get that. Now, here's something. I don't follow the rules, and I don't attempt to be politically correct anymore. I used to. So I know from your bio that you share with me pretty much of what you're sharing with us now, but I want to go a little bit deeper,
Okay.
because I know that this generation, the younger generation, the middle generation, and the older generation,
Mhm.
there's a knowing about this. Tell us a little bit about those hippie years. How
Yes,
you,
yes, I
yes,
know.
how you came to be involved, what it gave you, what it took away, and how you see it now.
Well, if you see the movie Jesus Revolution, which is out there now, that
Uh-huh.
couple in the movie, that's Dave and me, really and truly. But but actually, I guess it was kind of an innocent thing in the beginning because I had grown up in a small town in Iowa, a very sheltered life. And when I
Yes.
went away to college in 1967, I really wanted to be like everybody else. I didn't want to be different. And, I was never really allowed to date because I was brought up Jewish and everybody in our town was Gentile. And so my parents didn't want me to mix too much. So when I went away to college, it was like a kid in a candy shop. And so, when the hippies started to approach me, I thought, hey, this sounds kind of cool, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So unfortunately, I entered it with just great gusto. And, in the beginning, it was kind of fun and exciting and living in communes and, just doing everything hippies do. And then I came to a crisis in my life when everything just kind of screeched to a halt when I found out in 1970 that I was pregnant. And that was a very frightening thing because I came from a family where, appearances really matter. And I was deathly afraid of my father. And I just thought at all costs, he can't know that I was pregnant. So unfortunately, I went into denial for a while and I went into the second trimester of my pregnancy. There was no ultrasounds back then. So I didn't really know how far along I was until I made the decision to have the abortion. And I went to California where abortion was legal. And because it was second trimester, I actually had to go through a delivery process, unfortunately, and deliver my baby dead, to be blunt.
Jane,
Yes, it
Jane,
was.
thank you, Goldie. Thank you for that. The only
Mhm.
other way that you could be that, I know, not knowing you, but knowing you. The
Yes.
story and how you shared it with us is so indicative and so true for the majority of us.
Mhm.
Because in our younger years, and it's happening now in a different way, and that's why we as adults, whatever adult means to you, we have this responsibility
Mhm.
not to be judgmental, but to be open to receiving our younger generation because
Yeah.
they haven't had the guidelines yet and the platform and the foundation to do what they need or feel they want to do. We follow
Mhm.
until we get our awakening. Now, that leads me to your spiritual epiphany. Did that come after this happened? Yes.
Yes, actually it did. Um, I had met my husband in January of 1971, and I had to drop out of college because of the trauma from the abortion and depression and lots of issues. And I was
Yes.
going
Yes.
through very intensive psychotherapy. And
Oh, I
then I
bet.
met my husband along the way, and he too had come from a similar background with, abuse in his background and
Sure.
drugs, the hippie movement, but we just somehow found each other and we became soulmates immediately, best friends. And then I had the opportunity after going through the therapy to go back to college to finish my undergraduate degree. So we decided to move out to Minnesota. And I was getting my undergraduate degree in therapeutic recreation and music as a minor. And we had the opportunity to go on the road as musicians. I grew up in a musical family, and Dave always loved music. So Dave was a natural musician. I'm more of a trained musician. But we went on the road with a honky tonk revival for a while, and it was exciting. Supper clubs, Playboy clubs, you name it. But then suddenly I came to this place in my life when I just thought, I don't want to do this anymore. And I got depressed.
Yeah.
And I just cried out as a Jewish
Ah.
person to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and
Ooh.
Jacob. And I said, if you're real, reveal yourself to me. And that's when the revealing started. And then in time, we were invited to at the time, it was a Catholic charismatic prayer meeting.
Wow.
And there were
This
people, yes.
this is a great place to take a quick little reset because
Okay.
there's so much that you said that we can speak to and will speak to that will be absolutely enlightening, and you'll be sharing something that will be powerful for others to hear. So you hold tight. I'm going to take
Okay.
a quick reset, and then I'm going to come back and I want to talk about what you said as far as the musical and what happened. We'll delve into all of that. Just Kirill is going to put you in the green room for a second, and then I'll be back with you in a second. So just hold tight. I'm loving the
Okay.
conversation because it's needed. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, here's what I want to share with you. First off, I have a masterclass coming up. It's tomorrow, the 16th. It's 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, and you're all invited to the masterclass. She had the poster, it went away. There it is. It comes and goes. We never know. Becoming myself. But anyway, please join us tomorrow if you can. And you can go to the site and register. And in conjunction with that, in alignment, I want this to stay up a wee bit longer, but I want you to also take a look. Do we have anything up for the abundant? My friends, if you are not familiar with what's called the harmonic egg session, this is something you can look into. You can book remote sessions. Once you call, text, email, whatever you need to do, and connect with the people there, you're going to be blown away with all the fabulousness that can happen there. I have to tell you, I don't put anything on the pedestal. I don't get carried away with much of anything. It's not that I'm jaded in any way. It's just that I'm a realist. But let me tell you, this harmonic egg is mind-boggling in the best way. And if you get a chance, just give it a call, talk to the people there, and see what can happen for you. I've had 2 sessions. I'm going for 1 more. And I have to tell you, it is absolutely spellbinding in the best way. So hopefully you'll give them a call because they're waiting to hear from you. Now, Jane, you mentioned something. First off, I love music. They say that music is a language of the soul.
Yes.
And I believe that to be. I really do. I know that you and your husband, I think you said his name is Dave.
Yes.
You're doing what's called the Winn Winn Situation. Tell us a little bit about that. Let's get away from a little bit of the seriousness and go into the lightness, even though we heard what you shared with us about you were ready to leave the music and do something else. So tell us a little bit about what you and hubby are doing with the Winn Winn Situation. I love the name.
Yeah, isn't that fun? Our last name, a friend of ours came up with that it's a no-brainer. Well, yeah, when we were thinking of moving down to Florida in 2009, I started talking to Dave and I said, you know what, we have to do something in our retirement years. And since we're musicians, maybe we could put together a little duo and do some music and see if we could set up some shows in the senior facilities in Florida. So we put together this duo and we tried it up north to see what people thought about it. And everybody said, yes, 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 you should do it. So when we moved to Florida, the first year I went around marketing it and going to different various homes, and we had to do little tryouts. And then once people hire you, then they spread the word. And the next thing you know, we were doing 12, 13 shows a month. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. And so everything stopped for those 2 years. And then, interestingly enough, after that, we were a little tired and we said, you know what, let's slow it down to maybe 6 or 8 a month. So that's what we're doing now. But we love it because music just brings so much joy to these people. And music is the last memory to leave. And so it you know, you can just see them come alive. And it's just a wonderful time. Wonderful
Jane
time.
Goldie, I wanted you to speak to that because I've had the opportunity to be in a lot of happy senior living, assisted living compounds where they have these musicians come in. My hubby had an uncle who lived to be 103, and he was in this fabulous home up in Vero.
Wow.
And we used to go visit him once a month, and we would always go when they had the musicians coming in. And you should see them tapping their feet, and they would be singing along, and and it was just a joyous thing to see because most of them were immobile in one way or another. So it was great. That's why I celebrate the work that you're doing, because I know the joy that it brings to the people who are there. Now, let's talk about something else. I mean, you're doing so many fabulous things here. I mean, it's well, you can wear a tiara the next time we meet. You deserve one, and I don't know. It's the truth. Tell us about this fabulous book, because I know that it's Rainbow in the Night, a journey of redemption. And you said it took you 20 years, but tell us a little bit because it's going to be made into a movie, and the majority of us love movies. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so that was interesting because, you know, when I wrote the book, it was rather interesting because whenever I would go away to write, and I would always have to write in a beautiful, quiet place. And when I started to start a chapter, it was almost as though I would see the scene of my life on a video. And once I saw it, I would just start typing. So when I met a director a couple years ago at a film festival, and I was telling him how I was feeling like my book might be made into a movie. And when he asked how I wrote it, and I told him about seeing the videos, and he says, "Well, your book is already a movie then." And so then things just moved forward, and my publisher, Dr. Celeste Lee, just introduced me to this couple who produced faith-based movies. And the next thing you know, they said, "Yes, let's do it. I think this is a really good story. I think people will be really helped by this." And so it just kind of moved along pretty quickly. And now we're in the final editing stages. We're having our movie premiere in June. And it was just recently nominated as the best short film for the International Christian Film Festival in Orlando. So it's just like, it's just moving very quickly. And it's very exciting because I know it's going to help so many people.
Goldie, I keep wanting to call you Jane, and I know it's Goldie, but I know you by both names. So I met you under Jane, and now you're Goldie, but that's okay. Let me tell you, most of us watched the Hollywood Awards ceremonies last night. Who knows? You could be there next year. But the beauty is that you put together this book that's going to be this movie, a book into a movie that's going to be so inspirational for so many people. And I don't care how advanced any of us are, being inspired, ignited, excited about someone else's journey is always good. So we can hardly wait. Now, did I hear you say June? That's when it'll be premiered?
Yes, we're renting a theater, a movie theater. We only have some, room for about 220 people, and it's already almost full. But it's very exciting because I just feel like, it's a way for, friends and family and people I work with and people coming down from up north, and just to bring all my worlds together because, Dave and I don't have children in the natural. We have children who have asked us to adopt them spiritually, but this is legacy. You talk about leaving legacies. This movie is our legacy. So we want to make a big deal out of it and let everybody know that this is our story. And hopefully over the years, it will continue to help people long after we're gone.
So you should. And so you should. It should be your legacy. I get that. Now, are you in the movie?
Yes, actually, the movie is a narrative documentary. So they actually filmed me without a script, just telling my story from beginning to end. And then, of course, they would insert, pictures and scenes here and there. We didn't do on location because the focus of the movie is more narrative, but it just takes you through basically my whole life. And it was a little daunting, to see the first cut of it because when they say, before you die, you see your life flashing before you. But when you see it on screen for the first time, it's like, oh, I'm putting this out there for the whole world to see.
Well, I personally can't wait, and I'm sure many others who will be tuning into this won't be able to wait either. Now, let me ask you this because I really don't know, and I have shame, but not for things like this. What will we be able to see it at some point in time, and how will we be able to see it? Will it be on Amazon? Will it go to Netflix and one of the other apps that are here, there, and about? How do you plan to promote it so that we all can either purchase it or be able to view it? Is that in the works or finalized?
I'm learning about myself. I'm going to be attending this film festival in May to learn more about all of that, where there'll be distributors and people there during that time. So I'm not exactly sure, but what I would love to do, I love speaking. So my idea is to speak in different venues, show the movie, and then have a discussion afterwards along with a book signing, so that people can ask questions. And if they want to share, parts of their lives, they can. If they want prayer, I'm happy to pray with them. So that's sort of my vision, to take it out there wherever the doors might open. Because I think, when you meet somebody in person that you see on the screen, it makes a big difference.
Goldie. I attended one of your sessions last week, a week before. Tell us before we go here, and we have a few more minutes here. Tell us about this group of women that you meet with, and I'm sure men are invited as well. I think it's Tuesday nights at 7:30 or something like that.
Yes, it is.
Share with us a little bit about that. I don't know if you gave us a link that we can scroll across.
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
Do you invite everyone who wants to or can attend, or are you selective? And I only received an invitation because you know me. I want to know.
Well, you can actually go to the website that you have listed there,
Good.
rainbowintheNightmovie.com, and then you'll see that there's, if you scroll down, you'll see a link for Rainbow in the Night Healing Zoom group, and it
That's
meets
the one.
Tuesday nights from 7:15 to 8:15, and all you have to do is just fill it in, your name, your email, and then every week you'll just get an automatic email because it's reoccurring every single Tuesday night at 7:15, and we never know who's going to be on there. And men and women are welcome, and it's just an opportunity for people to really be able to share and ask questions. We pick a particular topic, and then if people need prayer, we like to pray for people at the end. So it's just a really wonderful group. Midge Lancet, who does the group with me, is also a licensed mental health counselor. And so between the two of us, we feel we can offer our expertise and just be available to people who might need a little extra encouragement.
Well, you know what, Goldie? I think all of us can always use encouragement. I attended your meeting and I love the name, a healing seminar, whatever it's called. Healing is always a good word. And I
Mhm.
was embraced there. I was welcomed. I
Yes.
felt comfortable. And the words that you use, the people there, the women that I met that night were all authentic, no facade, no fake anything. And they embraced and made me feel welcome. So anyone who attends will feel the same way. That I can assure everyone of. I love the
Oh,
work you're doing. It is
thank you.
exceptional in every way. And I'm so happy that we have this connection. I'm not the constant, continual boom, 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 stay in contact, but I never lose a connection. That's one of the
Oh,
many gifts that I've been given. So I say this to you because time just flies here. I attempt to keep this only at the 28 minutes so we can do other things. But tell us before we say so long for now, is there anything you want to leave us with? Any food for thought? Is there something coming up that you want us to be aware of? Do you just want to give us some pearls of wisdom? Whatever it is that your heart's desire, the stage is yours.
Oh, thank you, Joyce, so much for having me. It's been such a blessing. I guess more than anything, it's just, yeah, there are a lot of things coming up. I'm going to be collaborating with different authors and a couple of books that are going to be published and launching soon, and that's always exciting to be collaborating with other people.
Yes.
And like I said, working through the editing of the movie. But I think more than anything, I just want to leave people with hope because there's always hope. We never have to stay where we are. We can always move forward. And I think it's really important and to just be open. And I believe very strongly in God. So, if we can open our hearts and surrender to God as you understand him and just know that, he's there to embrace us, it just makes all the difference in the world because we don't have to do this alone. It's important to have a community of people we can be accountable to and just be authentic. And that's
Yes.
the most important thing is just to be yourself and to be open to whatever God has for you.
Goldie, 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 thank you from my heart to your heart. That was so empowering. And I have to tell you that one of the reasons we made the connection is there's an alignment. I send you blessings and much love and whatever and however you do. I'm going to put you in the green room for a second or two, and then I'll be with you in a second. Thank you, my love. That was
Okay.
absolutely wonderful. Much
Thank
love.
you.
She said it all. She said, hope. Isn't that what we're all wanting? Along adding into that truth, love, and beauty. And beauty is not the standardized beauty. I'm talking about the heart and soul beauty. We're all seeking the same thing. My friends, I leave you with this every night, every time we come together, because this is my soul's cry out to you and to me. I'm sending you much, much love from my heart to your heart. You be and stay well. Be safe. Take care. Always from my heart to yours. Much love. Cheers. Good night. Cheers.